So I'm not sure if I said it's a Jim Carrey movie. Hopefully I said that though. Okay. That was after 10 minutes. Now we're gonna do after 20 minutes. Now, couple things. Just what you call it. This next, so that first 10 was, I guess, you get introduced or you see, you know what I'm saying? But this next 10 just kind of sort of took a turn. And it really ramped up after that. Just not really ramped up, but just like whatever. Now I'm in a state of confusion, not sure. Now there's definitely things I need to be like pieced together. I'm like, what? So, what happens? Okay, he meets her. So at the end of the first 10 minutes or so, he's in his car. They're back in like would be normal, whatever. And she says, well, he offers to give her a ride. So she's like, yeah, right. Now, once they get there, they had a whole little conversation, whatever. Once he's like pulling up, about to drop her off, she says, do you wanna have drinks? And she was like, I have a lot of drinks, and and he's just like, it's, you know what, it's okay. And he's like, no. So, cutscene, he's in her house, right? So she's making drinks, and she was already kind of, forward on the train, and like they have, you can kind of tell like they have a difference in like approach or whatever. He's more reserved, she's more outgoing, that type of thing, whatever. So he's in there, they're having drinks. She makes this whole little, she was like, drink up, young man. She was like, it makes the seduction more repugnant or something like that. You know the words I'm trying to say. It makes the seduction part less repugnant. Well, I forget that word. It makes the seduction part less repugnant, whatever, right? She says that. And it's supposed to be like a little joke, haha, whatever, but it's all, both of them have like this dry, like, sense of humor. So of them either they are not understanding that there's each other's sense of humor type of thing. So she says that. Then they're sitting on the couch. Then she was like, she's like, you should go up to the Charles with me. It's frozen at this time or whatever. And he was like, that sounds whatever. And then she was like, we should go at night. She was like, I have a picnic. She was like, I'll pack a picnic. We can have a night picnic. And then now the next little part is kind of whatever. But then he was like, yeah, this and that. He was like, I think I gotta go. I gotta be up early in the morning, this and that. And she was like, okay, well, I want you to call me. Call me. That'd be nice. I'd be like, call me. So she writes her number on the back of his hand. Then he leaves. He goes home. She was like, and then as he's getting in his car, she calls out the window like, yeah, and wish me a happy Valentine's Day when you call, right? So he gets home, and he calls her. And so he gets home, he calls her, and what does he say? She was like, took you long enough. And he was like, I just walked in. And she was like, you miss me? Oh. Let me say this. Before, when it was at her house, she was like, I'm gonna marry you. And he was like, okay. She's like, we're gonna get married. And then she says the whole whatchamacallit. So I just thought it was kind of smooth when she was like, because she had said that beforehand. And then when it was on the phone, she was like, took you long enough. He was like, I just walked in, this and that. And she was like, did you miss me? And he was like, oddly enough, yes, I do. She's like, oh, you said I do. That means we're married, huh? That means we're married now. And this and that. So she said that. And then I forget the next little part. They said, I remember that. So I forget how that little conversation ends, but I do remember that part of the conversation. Then there's another little part, and so they end up going with like the Charles. I guess that's the Charles River, like New York, Jersey, somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but they go there, and then it's frozen, and it's nighttime. They got their jackets on, so they go, and then like she walks out onto the water, or river, or whatever, and he was like, I don't think you should, what if it cracks? And she was like, do you care about that right now? And she was like, come on, come here, come out here. Like, so uh, it was one of them type of Jones, those type of moments. Like you could tell, like she's bringing him more so out of his shell and those type of things. And he was like, I think, even when he sits down, I think I heard a crack, right? So it's one of them type of Jones. So they're laying on the ice. Now, with them laying on the ice, it actually is like you see like a big crack in the ice or whatever. So it's like, yeah. And so she's like, but it's nighttime. So she was like, which constellations do you know? Right? She says, which constellations do you know? And he was like, I don't know any. She was like, come on. Which ones do you like? Tell me the ones you know. So he says one. Something. Something the emphatic. I forget the name. It's like Osidious. It wasn't Osidious, but it was something. And she was like, what? She's like, you're full of crap. He was like, no, seriously. Like, something the emphatic. And he was like, it's a swoop and then a whoop, or whatever. He was trying to say that. So the only reason that just made me think about, like, if you were to, like, sit down with somebody and look at the stars, and they was actually like, what constellation do you know? It was that type of vibe. It was that type of thing. So it was kind of, like, he knew that one. I didn't know that one, right? But of which constellation somebody could. The reason I'm bringing this up because that's like something it's been mentioned before, like things to do, like just like it's like a date idea to sit and watch the stars at night. And so, which constellation do you know? And so he said that one. I didn't know, but I think like there's only like one I could probably like point out. And so I think that's like an actual thing. Like, it's one thing to ask somebody, do they know any type of constellations or anything like that? But to be sitting up underneath the stars and then like, well, which one can you actually point out? Which one do you know? And so he says one, but she didn't really believe it. But whether or not you do or don't know. And so that would actually be a thing to do. So it was that. Now, you can kind of sort of tell, one, he wanted to meet somebody new, and apparently whoever Naomi was to him or whatever. But you're not sure about what her history is and this and that, but she does seem very like open. Yeah, I'll say that much. He seems a little kind of closed off. She seems very open. Now, maybe you could call her clingy. I don't know, right? So the next thing was, so it cuts though, right? So they're on the frozen water or whatever. They're looking up at the stars, and then he drives her home. Now, when he drives her home, she's asleep. She's sleeping in the passenger. So he wake her up like, hey, this, that, third. She's like, oh, okay, all right. Then she was like, then she says, she asked, can she sleep at his place? She was like, so mind you, like this is the whole like, how certain things are just like, it's obvious, bro. She's trying to, but she's like, can I sleep at your place? And it's like they're literally in front of her place, and she said, can she sleep at his place? And he was like, she's like, I'm just so tired. And so he's like, okay. She's like, okay, let me get my toothbrush. So she goes up to get her toothbrush. Now here's the one little thing that's like weird. So this is where the movie, like, first of all, like, again, how open she is towards all of this is one thing. But she said, let me go get my toothbrush. So she goes up to get her toothbrush. And then a guy comes and he knocks on. So Jim is like, I don't know, what's his name? Joel. And first of all, that's also like throwing me off because it's like it's not Joel, it's Joel. Like the way they're saying Joel. So he's like, yeah, I'm Joel. So Joel, which is Jim Carrey, Joel's like about to just like just catch a quick little, just throw it, just like she gonna get her toothbrush or whatever. The guy comes, knocks on the window. He knocks on the window, and then he rolls the window down. He's like, and the guy's like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "What?" Like, he's like, "Can I help you? Do you need help with something?" And I was like, and so Jim was like, "I'm not sure what you're trying to," because mind you, because he was just sitting in the car. So the other guy comes up to the car and is like, "Can I help you with something?" And he's like, "I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're trying to ask. Like, I'm in my car. You're knocking on my window, asking me, can you help me with something? I didn't ask for your help or whatever." Um, so it was like that type of jump. And then he says, he either asks him like, um, he has like, "What are you doing here?" or something like that. It's something along those lines of like, "What are you doing around?" Like, the basically like, "Why are you in this area?" or something like that. It's something. It's not like a rude way of asking, but he had something like that. Um, but anyway, he's like, "No, I'm okay. Like, I'm good or whatever." And then the guy goes away. So I'm not sure. Like, okay, I'm just gonna because I'm not sure. Right, I've never seen this movie. I'm not sure what to expect. Oh, but this is why. First of all, it's that weird interaction, like the guy coming up to him and asking, "Is there something that he can help him with?" And then it's uh, it. So you don't see her come back to the car or anything. Then it like cuts, and when it cuts, the next thing you see is his name is Joel, Jim Carrey. His name is Joel in the movie. So it cuts, and then he's crying, and it's like, what, like what's going on, right? It's like, bro, what's going on? Like it was just he was waiting for her to get her toothbrush, and now it's like he crying in the car. What is going on? So, and this is so mind you, this is like 20 minutes into the movie, and now the credits are playing. You know the whole like here's the producer, here's this person, here like those start popping up as he's crying in the car. It's like, bro, what? So we don't wait to like 18, 20 minutes, and then he's like crying in the car. It's just showing it's showing like if you set the camera up to just be driving through the city, and now it's just showing city views, and it's like, bro, what in the world? So now it's just like, I'm not sure what else is about to happen, just because he, so he's pulling up or whatever, and then as he's pulling up, this van comes, and this van says something about 159 or whatever, and it says, "Is that him?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's him." And so it's like, okay. And so he walks into his apartment building. He's like checking the mail. His neighbor starts talking to him about whatever. And what's his neighbor talking about? Something. And his neighbor was like, "The only time I get a Valentine's Day card from my mom, my mother, whatever." And he was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And then he was like, "You should be glad you got Clementine." And so like, mind you, he met Clementine on Valentine's Day. So I'm not sure if this is like a year later, like, and what happened and what's going on. And he was like, I think he said like, "What are you doing Clementine?" He was like, "I don't have any plans or anything." Like, he's like, "It's only a couple days away. Like, you should definitely like uh, get a reservation, get some gifts and stuff. Like, otherwise, yeah, Mickey D's." And you want some fries with that shake? And he's like, "Yeah, man, I gotta go sleep." And he's like, his neighbor's like, "It's 8:30." So he gets in. Jim Carrey, Joel. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this, whatever. But he gets in his apartment. Mind you, they was like, they show something and you're not sure why they emphasize it. So like they look. When he asked him, he said like he only gets a Valentine's Day card from his mother. When his neighbor said that, his neighbor was like sifting through his mail in his hand, and it like cut to the mail in his hand. So I'm not sure, you know, why they focused on the mail that was in his hand. I'm not sure. I was kind of like, is there a name on it? Anything? I don't know. But anyway, Jim gets in his house, and then he gets some water. He takes something. I don't know what he takes. He gets some water. He takes something, and after he does that, he cuts all the lights off in his house. And so when he does that, the people who was like, yeah, was that him who pulled up in the van? They were like outside waiting. So once he cut all his lights off, they was like, showtime at the Apollo. And so they said that, and then now they're going into the apartment building. So this is like 20 minutes in. I'm definitely like, I don't know what's going on. I'm a little, just because it cut. Like I was following everything, but then it cut, and there has to be some time must have had passed. Now, my only other thing is, with that last cut scene happened when the guy came up to his window and said, "Can I help you with something?" Now, I'm trying to figure out what word we want to use in 2026 for that line of work. You know what I mean? But the person come up to the window and say, "Hey, can I help you? You need something, this, and that, third, why you here in this area?" So I'm not sure if that was a worker, you know? Also, with her and her demeanor, her personality, anything like that, I'm not sure if that's her line of work, you know? She is very like forthcoming and forward, and she also, I'm not sure what it was, but like, she, with her, so this is one of those things where I like, how do I say, in literature, in literary works, you use the term indirect characterization and direct characterization. So there has been some indirect characterization for her character and for him. So with her, at the shop, you saw her put something in her drink. You see that she was the first one to say hello, hi, hey, you want to come in for drinks? That makes the seduction part less repugnant. Drink up. She also has something where she sniffs, and is like, it was inside of her little lipstick or whatever. So she did that. So I'm not sure if there's two things, one, the things that she dabbles in, and what type of work she does. So it's kind of sort of been alluded to, or kind of sort of hinted at. That's one. The Jim Carrey's character is, again, he may want something, but he's not going to speak up for it or go after it. He's like, I want to meet somebody new. Somebody new come talk to you, and now you're not, he's very much reserved, very just like, oh, I'm not sure about this or doing that, and but he will kind of sort of go along with certain things, but he definitely will try to get away or get out of conversations and stuff. So those are two things. So interesting to see like what's going to happen next. But there have been clear shifts. I'm not sure. So it would seem, or things that you gotta assume, like with the neighbor saying, "Good thing you got Clementine." Like, so it would assume. I'm not sure how much time has passed, but at least a year, right? At least a year, because it's Valentine's Day again, and so it's about to seem like they've been dating for a year, or people know him and her, because clearly the neighbor know her. So what's happened throughout this past year or so. So it definitely has taken another jump or so. Now we got to kind of fill in this gap with whatever. But the other part with Jim Carrey and Joel is the fact that he just took something medicine-wise, and now he's like, oh, not kind of sort of stumbling around, but like, I'm not sure if it's like he need to go to sleep or what, and what he's taking it for. So there's that. So now we're gonna do, I'm gonna see another little few minutes or so